Hello everyone and welcome. You join us live for the Mexican Grand Prix of 1991 and surely a fascinating Grand Prix lined up for us, and we know that Senna needs another good result. He's been having nothing but strong results, but if he wants to keep his championship alive, let's get to the grid. Hakkinen took a dubious pole position, but the FIA said it was alright. Alesi's in second with Senna in his McLaren in third place. Game takes an excellent fourth place. He is looking to extend his championship lead today. Prost is fifth, Berger sixth, Mansell down in seventh place. He has come out this week and said he's absolutely elated that there's only a few more rounds left to go. But it's Nannini in 8th, Patrese 9th, Schumacher in 10th, teammate Gasho behind him in 11th place. Pierluigi Martini 12th with Morbidelli, his teammate, in 13th place. Capelli is 14th with Gugelman in 15th. Johnny Herbert is ahead of Martin Brund, who is very heavily linked to the Benetton seat for next season. Eric Comas in 18th, 19th is Boots and Alboreto 20th. Cafe in 21st and Mark Blundell rounds the grid in 22nd place. Right, we need a strong start here. And starts have not been a strong point for the team as a whole all season, but we could get caught, and it looks like it's another poor one, and Berger gets a great launch. He is going to jump game off the start of the grid, but we head down now. Hakkinen is surely going to be overtaken by Jean Alesi as they head into turn one, and is Senna going to be able to get straight past? That could be key in this Grand Prix, but it is. Senna is straight through on Mika Hakkinen again with his dubious time in qualifying. Not sure where that's finessed it from, but anyway, Alesi leads with Senna second, Hakkinen in third place. Prost will be doing all he can to get through as quickly as possible, and that is at Prost at the inside. It is Prost up the inside of Mika Hakkinen, and that's him through into third place. Berger just behind now, but is that going to be Berger trying a move up the inside into the sort of hairpin? And that is, Hakkinen is just going backwards, but that is to be expected. That car is about 2.5 seconds a lap slower than the top cars on this grid, but this is a difficult place to pass on the circuit. But Hakkinen holding the two Williams cars up. Is that going to allow the cars in front to get, they've touched a little bit, but that's going to allow game to sweep round the outside. A little bit of racing contact, that is fine. Can't see there being any challenge on that, but it's Alesi who rounds the final corner to complete the first lap of this Grand Prix, leading the Grand Prix. Senna is behind, but he's got a bit of a lead. Alesi seems to have incredible pace in this opening lap. Senna probably would be okay with a second place if it ended up like this. They just all need to outscore game. That is what they're looking to do. But he is all over the back of Gerhard Berger as we speak. And the Berger in second place in the championship will be doing everything he can to keep the man behind him. And Berger can't really afford to drop more points to the Williams. That might be detrimental to his championship, but he's going to sneak through on the inside. He's caught Berger napping. Berger left a big door open there, and he didn't need a second invitation to get past. And that's the Williams now ahead of the McLaren, and Berger's going to need to do everything he can to try and get back past, or at least stay with him. He has to stay with him. He can't drop more points. Surely can't drop more points. But the classification at the end of the second lap is Alesi leads, Senna, Prost, Game, Berger, and in sixth place in the final points. But it's Hakkinen still Mansell finds himself behind. Patrese there in 8th, Morbidelli's got himself up into 9th place, but this is Mansell trying to move, and he's touched Hakkinen. Is there a spin round? Almost collecting the Benetton. He's clipped the Benetton on the exit of the corner. That's put a Benetton in the wall. I believe that's a Benetton in the wall. Yeah, it's a huge crash in the background. We will need to take a look at that. But Hakkinen remains ahead of Nigel Mansell. And here we go then, that's the Benetton. So he's swept on track. He's really out of control of the car, Mansell, so I don't put any of the blame on him. And then the two Benettons come together. Then he's clipped, and has flipped him over the barrier. I hope he's okay, but I believe that was a Ligier, and he's driving off a little bit, so I assume he is okay. But it was a Ligier just come around the corner, wrong place, wrong time. It's a big crash for the Ligier, and let's keep our fingers crossed that both drivers are a-okay. Ooh, that was a biggie. Absolute massive crash here at the Mexican Grand Prix, but we're straight back on as Berger has dropped back. Game has extended at 2 seconds ahead of the McLaren. He is all over the back of Alain Prost in his Ferrari, and he does seem to be the quickest car on the track at this present point in time, lap 4 of this Grand Prix. But can Prost not having a great season despite him retiring at the end of the season? I thought we'd get more from Prost this season. He takes that high line there, that Indianapolis line. That's a great exit, and he's pulled alongside the Ferrari, but that Ferrari with the utmost power, and Game slips back into the slipstream. Is he going to try and move into the first corner? And look at the slipstream he can get, but that immediately, once he pulls out of that Ferrari, power cuts for a Game, notoriously brave on the brakes, dives up the inside and is up into 3rd place ahead of Alain Prost in the Ferrari. And can he get his sights? 1.5 seconds is the gap. Can he set after Ayrton Senna? So that would be brutal. If he can overtake Senna, that could be Game shot and the match in far as the championship goes. But this is the two Jordans struggling to find a way past the Minardi of Morbidelli. And that Schumacher out wide, he's on the grass, clip the wall, he's out of the Grand Prix. He will have to iron those mistakes out, Schumacher, next season. But again, it's his rookie year, he's had a great season. But Game is all over the back of Ayrton Senna now. Senna will need to do everything in his will to keep the man behind him. I don't think people can drop points to him. It will be huge in the championship if they drop further points, because it's not like he's a couple of points ahead. He's over a race win ahead, and that's a good run into the final corner. But we know the Honda engine is far superior, but Game dives into the pits. He's diving down into the pit lane, and they will need a strong stop. It sweeps into the little chicane before he heads into his box, and the Williams mechanics will service the car lively, we hope. And it's away, well, wheel spins off, the smoke bellowing up into the pit lane as he leaves his box and exits the pit lane onto the main straight. He's come out into some good clear air, and I think he's dropped down into 6th place. And it's a Lacey's in. He has been fantastic today, has Jean Alesi. Driven a fantastic race. Senna's in as well in the background, and he's struggled with the pit outlaps in recent Grand Prix, has Jean Alesi. Senna in there, Prost also in. A Game is currently being held up by his teammate Mansell, who's struggling big time here at the Mexican Grand Prix, and he's got to sweep around the outside of his teammate at high speed, jump straight back in front of him. That was a fantastic move, and that's Prost exiting the pit lane, so he's cleared Prost, and he's got a fantastic run on the Brazilian of Ayrton Senna and the McLaren, and he's obviously just coming out of the pits. Is he going to get a move into turn 1? On the brakes, big brakes, big puff of smoke, and he gets the car stopped, and that's him into 2nd place. Berger's still not pitted yet, but net 2nd place, and here is Gerhard Berger, and he's locked it all up. Berger's out. Berger is out of the Mexican Grand Prix, and does that mean his championship as well? As Jean Alesi passes, Game passes in the background, Senna will pass, they'll all pass. Gerhard Berger is out of the Mexican Grand Prix. That is big for the championship. But Ricardo Patrese has driven a fantastic Grand Prix, and he has jumped Nigel Mansell in the pit stop phase. Fantastic. Alesi here, who really has driven a fantastic Grand Prix. Right when he jumped Mika Hakkinen off the start line, got him in before turn 1, and he's been untroubled. He has been untroubled. And Senna will be a little bit disappointed, I think. 3rd place, he's still at the podium, keeping that run alive, but he's dropped points to Game, but it won't be a huge amount of points. It's not a huge amount of points. So we'll see with the standings at the end of the Grand Prix what we shall make of the next few Grand Prix, but absolutely flying on the final lap. Game is closing in on Jean Alesi, desperate for a win. He's not had a win since, I think it's the Argentinian Grand Prix, but he's kept himself clean, he's kept himself tidy in those Grand Prix. Well, maybe not completely clean and tidy, but the lead he'd picked up over those early stages has really allowed him to not have to find positions during the Grand Prix, but this is the man, the Ferrari man, leading the Grand Prix, about to win the Grand Prix. Ferrari are in good stead for 92 as Alesi wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Game will come home in second place for a 6 points, and Senna will come home third. He may be a bit disappointed with that, but it's not all doom and gloom. Prost will come home in fourth in his final Mexican Grand Prix. Patrese will finish fifth. Mansell will finish in sixth. But here's the man himself, Jean Alesi, who I think many were worried that he may not be able to step up to the challenge of Ferrari, the challenge of Prost. But he's had Prost's number this season, and I think Ferrari will be incredibly looking forward to what might come over the next few seasons with Jean Alesi. And that is the final classification. Jean Alesi confirmed as the Grand Prix winner. Game in second place, then it's Senna, then Prost, Patrese in fifth. Fantastic result, despite rumours of him retiring for next season. Mansell did pick up the final point. Great result for Mika Hakkinen, finishing seventh and keeping everyone behind. Just a few retirements. Johnny Herbert retired with a clutch problem. Thierry Boutsen and Nannini are well, fit and standing, you'll be pleased to know, so they likely will not miss the next Grand Prix. Schumacher out with a mistake into the final corner, losing his rear wing. But yeah, your race winner, Jean Alesi. But the championship standings are as followed. Game 65 and 13 points back. Alesi's closing in. He has been a dark horse in these last few Grand Prix, with him to 13 points back, but just a single point back. Ayrton Senna, but 14 back with a few to go is a huge amount of points. Has Gerhard Berger finished himself off with that retirement today? He remains on 48 points. Prost on 31 pretty much guarantees he will not be world champion of 1991 and will remain a three-time world champion. But I think Alesi will be incredibly impressed. If Alesi can keep up the strong form, he will definitely be able to put a fight to the Williams driver. Senna as well, but they will not. I don't think they can lose. I don't think they can drop any more points to game in the Williams. There's not a huge amount of Grand Prix to go, 3 I think. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, let me know who is going to be the world champion of 1991. And yeah, please like, subscribe, nearly at 500. And yeah, join us next time for what I believe is the American Grand Prix. Bye bye.